I grew up during the Soviet Union time, so I was 4 years old in 90. I mean, 4 years old in 91 when finally Ukraine happened. But during the Soviet Union times, all the churches were prohibited, and the churches that were open, they had to cooperate with KGB. Most people that were spreading the gospel truly, they were rather imprisoned, like my great grandfather was for 16 years, or they were hiding. In my early age, church was prohibited, so my parents baptized me secretly, and I was baptized by a Greek Catholic priest, and he could be severely persecuted for doing it. Because he was just like a normal person hiding the thing that he was a priest. So when I started to get older, I started to question faith, and I created my own God, and I can just worship him by myself. This is where like the beginning of me going away and just not going to any church. I went and I was not seeking the Lord. I was seeking friends. I wanted to be accepted into any circle that I could find, and I was relating more with Ukrainian people in America, and this is how I met my husband. In Philadelphia, there was like a big Ukrainian community. I didn't know that I will have any issues in the marriage. I thought that I'm just a wonderful person, and I know the Lord, and I know the Bible, and the same my husband. He's really humble. He's a really nice guy, so we're never going to have any issues. A couple of years into our marriage, we noticed that we started to have some arguments, and we started to notice that we have a lot of differences as well. And it was the arguments, and it was just becoming more and more frequent, and both of us just decided that it's going to be just better for us if we're just going to get divorced. I had this conversation at work that just got me really out of my whole world was shaking because I got so angry at the lady that was unmarried. She started to tell me how good marriage is, and she was putting some Bible verses. I was really mean to her. I was like, "You're not even married. Stop telling me all of those things. You have nothing. You have no idea what marriage is at all. For how many years you were married?" And I had to apologize after that, and it led to a really deep conversation with her later on. She told me her testimony. So testimonies are really powerful. She told me her testimony, and that's it. And she said that she would pray for me. And when she was praying for me, I felt such a relief, and I felt that there's a third person with us. And I just, she was leaving, and I was just crying there in a parking lot. And she came in and she said something really weird, which she doesn't remember right now anymore. She said, "Welcome to the family." And I could never understand what it is, but I went home and I apologized to my husband, and my husband accepted me. And my relationship from 0 for getting divorced went to 10. It was really beautiful. It brought me back to the family. I was born again, and I was a little baby, and God was speaking to me every day. And I will always cherish those moments with God. On top of my personal things, it was always a pain of slavery, Holodomor, like the genocide of Ukrainian people in Ukraine. And that pain was really big. That pain was growing over the years. So when I got saved, that was taken away from me for a couple of months. I was just really happy. But then it was brought back in because of a lot of injuries, a lot of people that were without husbands because they died in the war. So for the entire century, my family's stories about the Soviet Union, about the persecution, about the atheistic Russians that they were coming to destroy Ukraine, and because they all had churches, but the way that they were acting, it was kind of like satanistic. So for me, I never was looking at our battle in Ukraine as it is a spiritual battle until I got saved. I had still a lot of unforgiveness to in my heart that got exposed, and I just started to cry, and I felt God's comfort. It's really heartbreaking. So before, I would just probably not even survive. My depression would be so big I would not even get out of the bed. But just because I was already working, not that I was already working, but I gave it to God to work with my forgiveness, forgiving the entire Russian nation for being who they are, sinners, like we all are, like Ukrainian people. They are sinners and they also need to repent.